I just think comedy is a great way to get in and start talking. There's some good in it, maybe some bad in it, but I think for me it cuts towards going. And that's my decision, and I know where it's coming from because I can see right inside myself. So.
Right. Okay, let me distill this. How many of these people would have performed at a Donald Trump inauguration? Comment below. How many do you think? The answer, of course, is none. Just to be clear, before we get to this and all these comedians who are, comedians always want to, and this is why I've always, it's not a club that, they act like they're changing the world. And I get it, by the way. Comedy is important to speak truth to power. I understand it. But a lot of people have cashed in on that while doing nothing more than cashing in on that. So let's set the stage here. We're talking whether it's Israel, and by the way, completely valid to criticize the Israeli government and certainly Netanyahu because he has an incentive to keep this war going on. Because as soon as it's done, he's out. I get that. I also understand criticizing the American government because they've fallen short in many ways. But to do so while running interference for the Saudis, that's where I go, oh, maybe you don't believe what you're saying necessarily, because their track record on human rights, well, let me just give them to you. Saudi Arabia is number 4 on the top 10 slave-owning countries in the world today. Wow. More slaves on Earth today than ever in recorded history, by the way, over 50 million. They administer the death penalty for things like being gay, apostasy, blasphemy against Islam. Apostasy, in their case, means just basically leaving.
Yes.
You're a Muslim, now you're not, you get put to death. They've murdered journalists. Of course, you guys remember Khashoggi, that was a big one. And of course, women were not allowed to drive until 2018, so they weren't all wrong.
Traffic accidents went up a lot.
Yeah. Now, performers at the festival, see if you can spot a trend here. Aziz Ansari, Wayne Brady, Bill Burr, Whitney Cummings, Pete Davidson, Kevin Hart, Gabriel Iglesias, Bobby Lee, Andrew Santino, Andrew Schultz, Chris Tucker, Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, Sebastian Maniscalco. And the contract stipulations, by the way, they were more lengthy when they started, and I guess they sort of reduced it down. They basically stated that you couldn't make fun of the Saudi Arabian government. You couldn't make fun of the royal family at all, and you couldn't make fun of religion.
You could probably make fun of a couple of religions.
I think religions? They probably said no religion because they just didn't want it. They didn't want the optics of saying you can't make fun of Islam.
Right.
So if they say don't make fun of religion in general because it's disrespectful,
because we respect the Jews.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know.
So, but think about this: you're a comedian. You're taking a check to go perform for what is effectively just. They are a perpetual abuser of human rights, Saudi Arabia. And you can't make fun of them for, well, how can you speak truth to power? It's baked into the contract,
right? Where
you can't make fun of them. And some of the comedians were reportedly offered anywhere from $350,000 to $1.6 million.
Dang.
Tim Dillon, who was disinvited, and by the way, respect to him for ending up disinvited. He said that he was offered $375,000. $375,000.
I think he even took a down payment or something. He was joking about it. Maybe it was just a joke, but yeah, he did joke about it pretty hard.
Yeah, I don't know if he did or if he didn't. By the way, this is why we are funded by viewers like you, not a foreign caliphate. You can join. You can click that button, join Rumble Premium. Mug Club is Rumble Premium. Rumble Premium is Mug Club. And if not, let us earn your vote tomorrow. But I would hate to find myself in a position where I have to take money from the Saudis.
Okay, well then I'm going to need to cancel that flight tomorrow.
Well, thank you.
Riyadh.
That's as long as I do hear that. Was it at UAE Airlines, United Arab Emirates Airlines? Is that what it is? It's beautiful first class.
Fantastic. Well,
they're great, and the ladies still wear skirts. That's awesome.
Yeah. I do.
The guys wear them too. It's weird.
I do like the old Pan Am outfits. So the comedians who will be going, Dave Chappelle, he said this about Riyadh. He said, right now in America, they say that if you talk about Charlie Kirk, that you'll get canceled. I've never heard anyone say that. It's easier to talk here, meaning Saudi Arabia, than it is in America.
What?
Wrong.
Yeah, who's there? Jimmy Kimmel.
Hold on a second. Have you performed anywhere in America where you were met with the stipulations, can't make fun of anyone in the government, can't make fun of any elected officials, and can't make fun of religion at all? I think that's exclusive to the Saudi Arabian government. And by the way, no one says that you'll be canceled if you talk about Charlie Kirk. Is he conflating this idea of the left gleefully celebrating the assassination of an innocent man and spitting on memorials and desecrating vigils? Is he conflating that with talking about Charlie Kirk?
Yes.
Because it's literally a cottage industry right now where everyone is talking about Charlie Kirk and every Tom, Dick, and Harry has a conspiracy theory. It's easier to talk here, Saudi Arabia, than it is in America. Well, let's see. Are there some criticisms that you have lobbed here in the United States that would not be allowed in Saudi Arabia? For example, have you complained about those in power here or made fun of them, which you absolutely are well within your right and should do, but of course would be barred from ever being discussed in Saudi Arabia? Roll it, Tim.
The beginning of the monologue, I contextualized it because I feel like a lot of white Americans finally got to see what an election night looks like for many black Americans.
Chappelle said during a routine at the gala, "I was the first guy on TV to say, give Trump a chance. I effed up. Sorry." The former Comedy Central star also said he completely disagreed with Trump's travel ban attempt, which targeted Muslims. Chappelle said of the executive order, "I think that is way out of step with the way people feel in America."
Now, can you imagine him just in Saudi Arabia? I hear y'all don't let homos drive. He'd never come back. He would never be allowed back.
No.
And that's the issue here is for me, look, you want to take the money, that's fine. Just say, yeah, it was a good check. We'll get to Pete Davidson in a bit because he was honest about it. But saying that it's easier to talk in Saudi Arabia when you are on record saying things about this administration, about this government that you have, by the contract stipulations, you would never be able to say there. That's dishonest. It's disingenuous. And I think would be an asterisk next to your name as a truth teller. The next one, I don't know if we have this clip. You said there was a V2 that you're waiting on, right?
Yes, I didn't get it yet.
Okay, do we just have version 1?
No.
You don't have any of them?
I don't have any of that clip.
Well,
it'd be one thing if
we'll come back to it.
It'd be one thing if Chappelle had gone over there and he actually did, talk about the royal family and talk about Islam or anything like that.
Yeah,
and then came back and was like, "Hey, yeah, I can say whatever I want," but he didn't do that.
No, you didn't do that.
He didn't do
that at all. That brings us to, okay, let's do Louis C.K. then. So Louis C.K. defended his appearance in Riyadh. And again, the issue here is just them turning themselves, just twisting themselves into pretzels to defend what they would refer to, rightfully so, as an authoritarian administration if any of their policies made their way over here, while then lamenting the loss of our basic fundamental rights in the United States. Let's see Louis C.K. defending what's going on in Riyadh.
And when this came up, they said there's only 2 restrictions. It's their religion and their government. And I don't have jokes about those 2 things. It used to be when I got offers from places like that, there'd be a long list. And I just say, no, I don't need that. But when I heard it's opening, I thought that's awfully interesting. That just feels like a good opportunity. And I just think comedy is a great way to get in and start talking. There's some good in it, maybe some bad in it, but I think for me it cuts towards going. And that's my decision, and I know where it's coming from because I can see right inside myself. So.
Right. Okay, let me distill this. How many of these people would have performed at a Donald Trump inauguration? Comment below. How many do you think? The answer, of course, is none.
Yeah. Nobody.
They criticized artists for performing.
Right, and here's the thing.
Yeah.
They basically are. They basically are performing at a political event there because they're politically whitewashing Saudi Arabia. They have agreed we will not criticize those in power here so long as the checks cash. How many of them would perform at a Donald Trump inauguration or gridiron dinner?
Yeah.
Probably none. Here's Louis C.K. Addressing Donald Trump. Just picture Donald Trump as, a royal Saudi.
Then there's somebody who lies once in a while. It can't quite stay inside the boundaries of truth, right? Somebody who lies sometimes. Then you have a liar, who's somebody who's almost like it's like a problem. They can't help it. They lie a lot. Then you have just a lying sack. And that's somebody who just they just lie. They like it. He likes it. He goes, it wasn't even true. Wasn't even true. And then I said they were liars. And we bombed a bunch of weddings in Yemen. We sent them like a present, like they registered for a drone or something. At every wedding there. So yeah, you didn't like that much,
no,
did you?
Also, that was effectively Saudi Arabia's war.
Yes, that's true.
That's a twofer. So you can blame Donald Trump for basically a Saudi Arabian conflict, and then say, but it's a great way to get people talking. They're doing what? Wait. Okay, let's go to.
I guess he must have been okay with the drone attacks in Yemen 2 years prior.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Let's go to Bill Burr. Bill Burr, of course, a beacon of truth-telling, as bold as they get, and by that I mean a guy who lifted Nick DiPaolo's act while he was watching him in Boston and was lost in tall weeds, largely an observational comic who took Nick DiPaolo's shtick and then decided to soften it for the mainstream. Here's Bill Burr talking about performing in Saudi Arabia and how wonderful of an experience it was.
The Royals loved the show. Everyone was happy. The people that were doing the festival were thrilled.
Thank God.
And yeah, it was just this great positive thing. And I got to tell you, just to be a part of that was fucking amazing. And the comedians that I've been talking to just were like, dude, they wanted it. They wanted it. They wanted you to like the people want, like, you know, they go online and they see it. They want to like see real stand-up comedy. So
they got you instead.
It was a mind-blowing experience. Definitely top 3 experiences I've ever had.
Look, there's nothing wrong with doing comedy if you want to go and ask them, talk about the microwave dinners on the airline or whatever it is. Okay.
The fork and toy is so flimsy.
Yeah, to act like you're like, if it was the Bill Burr of yore, you'd be like, right, really, dude? Like, we're not going to act like only 3 years ago your women were allowed to drive, right? Like, I get it's a positive impact, it's a change, but dude, come on. Like, your women are dressed like ninjas, right? They can't do it if you're throwing gays off rooftops. It's been raining men for like a fucking week, right? Dude. Like, instead, he's like, it was just great, man. It was fantastic. Let's go to he also had some pretty, he had some nice insight as to some of your misconceptions about Saudi Arabia.
Huh. My whole fucking idea of Saudi Arabia is what I've seen like on the news. I literally think I'm going to fucking land, and everybody's going to be screaming, death to America. And they're going to have like fucking machetes and want to like chop my head off, right? Because this is what I've been fed about that part of the world, right?
And this is why it's so easy for the left to maintain zero principles. They straw man everything.
Yeah.
Like, I would never, and by the way, I have a problem with any type of caliphate. I have a problem with any type of government that is largely predicated around Islam, because I know what it actually stands for. But I wouldn't think for a second that if I landed, it would be a bunch of people shouting death to America.
After they paid you to fly there?
Exactly.
Right. But like, since he goes, and since it wasn't that way, it's actually not what you think. Yeah, and then he strawmans Donald Trump voters. He strawmans Donald Trump himself. Mm-hmm. So basically, your principles can just shape shift. By the way, just to be clear, I would never be able to perform in Riyadh. I would guaranteed be executed. Do you know that? Guaranteed be executed if I landed, set foot in Saudi Arabia. They could go through my YouTube channel. They could pick 5 videos from 2008 through 2012. Go back into the catalog and go, oh, well, of course we have to kill him. So forgive me if I don't have a lot of love lost for these people. And here's Bill Burr. Again, just picture the criticism toward American officials and largely conservative. Just picture them as the Saudi royal family. Here he is.
That idiot Elon Musk.
Oh.
That guy, like, he's going to, who evidently is a Nazi. Like, I just refuse to believe that it was an accidental 2-time Sieg Heil.
Why do you think people are still in the Klan? 2024, and some guy yelled out, he goes, something to do! The reason why they still fucking exist is because they don't fuck with white people. That's basically it. If they did to white people what the they've done to black people, how long do you think that stupid fucking group would have been around?
These fucking billionaires, they need to be put down. Like fucking rabid dogs. They're like rabid with fucking greed. And just going out and just dividing everybody. You know what I mean? Because some corporate had to give himself a fucking bonus check at the end of the year. What if we made it worse, but made it look the same?
Yeah.
Then could our pools be bigger?
Not
Free
okay.
Luigi! But CNN and Fox News are not going to bring up the insurance companies that are just going to keep everybody's premiums and still give themselves a bonus. Yeah. Yes! Free Luigi!
Kind of like the royal family worth $1.4 trillion, right?
You want to join a younger, hipper white nationalist group, right? Like the neo-Nazis or the Proud Boys, with their little fades, and their little hokey-doke things.
Conflate the two.
Pee-pees through or whatever the secret handshake is. I'm looking out my white head, watching this white shit. It's coming back into my white eyes, getting whiter by the fucking second. Right? Now, my wife, on the other hand, she's black, right? You guys stood by us toxic white males through centuries of our crimes against humanity. You rolled around in the blood money, and occasionally when you wanted to sneak off and hook up with the black dude, if you got caught, you said it wasn't consensual. How you can be the support the troops, America love it or leave it, and then this guy comes in and gives a shout out to Hitler. Like that Colin Kaepernick guy, right? You knew when he was like protesting during the national anthem, no one was going to listen to what the he had to say, no matter how much he explained it.
And we don't want to go to war with Russia over Ukraine. What would be the sense of making it illegal? Oh, that's really going to stop Putin. No. To stop people from going to war, you have to also put boots.
Can't sit down and talk it out.
Why can't Putin do a podcast with the head guy? Like, you just solved the Middle East on a podcast. Why can't they solve what they're doing on a podcast?
This is why this is not your thing.
One guess. Let's talk about the crimes against humanity, right? Like slavery, where you just performed and it still exists now. They have slaves. I'm glad they had a Chili's, Bill. They also have slaves. And we're going to continue talking about this, by the way. If you're not a Rumble Premium member, click that button. And you can continue with us. We're going to be taking some of your chat, probably a lot of questions about the food poisoning. I do appreciate when someone says, you know what, my principles don't mean all that much to me, and I was just willing to take the money because, hey, it's a good check. And that is pretty much exactly what Pete Davidson said. And I will tell you, I respect him more than the Bill Burrs and the Louis C.K.'s of the world, for being honest.
But no, what I've heard, dude, is at that Riyadh festival is that they're like, there's a lot of people that say people are getting paid by this Middle Eastern money.
Right.
And that they can say this or they can't say that, or that they're over there, they're going to try to influence you guys in order to speak certain ways. Are you part of that conspiracy theory, or is that nothing you're on?
I've heard there's subreddits of I think all these people are in bed with that. I just, I get the routing and then I see the number and I go, I'll go. Yeah, and also
I appreciate it.
There's part of me that's just like, I've been getting a little bit of flack just because my dad died 9/11, so they're like, how could you possibly go there?
At least he's honest.
Yeah,
he's not presenting himself as a champion of truth telling.
No.
And then someone who was as blunt as possible. And I really appreciate this. Going one step further, Shane Gillis said that he definitely could not perform there in Saudi Arabia.
I'll be honest, I don't really have strong feelings about the Saudi Arabia Comedy Festival. I do get the fact that they perpetrated 9/11.
I'm not doing it.
That is good. I admire that.
Then they doubled the bag, and I was like,
sorry, just go on Google, Big. Who really did 9/11?
I'm not doing it.
And just be like, okay, fine, never mind.
Yeah.
They doubled the bag, the princes?
It was a significant bag.
What?
Yeah, but I'd already said no. I took a principled stand.
Yeah, against Saudi Arabia.
It wasn't even that. I didn't even think about it.
I thought we were allies with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, we are. We give them a ton of
So why the hell did they do 9/11 to us? We're our boys.
I think, wasn't Osama bin Laden just from Saudi Arabia?
Really?
Yeah,
all the hijackers, every single hijacker basically was Saudi.
Yeah, you don't 9/11 your friends, bro.
You don't 9/11 your friends.
You don't. That's
Great reaction. I like that they counter-offered, I didn't get any offer. I actually auditioned for it.
Did you? How'd it go?
Yeah, well, not good. They said that it was a little too derivative of Sebastian Maniscalco, who's already there, but I think it was because of my speech.
Oh.
I wish I knew how to do it. I do. I wish I knew. And there's guys in here right now. They know how to stone a woman. I got buddies like this. They stone a woman on the weekend. I come over to the house and they're like, hey, you want to see the woman I stoned in the backyard? And I'm like, you stoned a woman? When? Today. Today? I took a nap today. You stoned a whole woman to death? Guys like this? They got a flatbed Toyota Hilux, AK-47s, a stoning post in the backyard, a lot of stones everywhere. I don't got any of that. I got to hire a contractor.
I think they might have had a point. I don't think that was so much of a principled thing.
Well, I mean, I don't think I was just like Sebastian Maniscalco.
I could also understand why they might not want you and him side by side.
There's a resemblance.
Yeah, there's a resemblance
in the act.
Well, we both like a lot of leather.
Yes, that's right.
You both Italian guys from Chicago.
From Chicago, yeah. Basically, you two and
things
Dennis.
used to be better.
Okay,
Yeah.
just maybe let it go.
It's you two and Dennis Farina.
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh, he's the best. He's the best Chicago accent guy ever. What were you going to say there?
So I was going to say, something just hit me and it kind of occurred to me in this. They're talking about I think people are being paid to go over there and come back kind of as ambassadors, right? And that makes sense because, Saudi Arabia is going to pay you to go over there. They've had these world championships for, wrestling, grappling, whatever, all these different things over there. They've bought the,
WWE is owned by Saudi Arabia now.
Well, they've bought into a lot of the Premier League clubs, and they've bought some of the best players in the world to have them come over and then be ambassadors. Some of the most influential online personalities ever. Ronaldo is one of those guys, Cristiano Ronaldo. So it's okay to do that.
Correct.
But if you get paid to go to Israel and go see the holy sites by Netanyahu and all these guys. It's not okay. And I'm not defending doing that because I don't like that either. But I'm saying, how can you look at one and go, Saudi Arabia is fine, when the left was absolutely going after Donald Trump every single freaking day when he went to Saudi Arabia and they received him like a king. Yeah. And he was basically saying, like, I cannot believe we're going over to the... Where are your principles, left? Not just these comedians.
They don't exist.
The left. This is the exact same scenario, and I disagree with both. Yeah. But not the left. They only hate one. And it really is funny because I thought you hated the other country too, until it turns out that it's just not the Jews in that country. That's the only variable that I see that's different. Maybe just give me some more information and tell me how I misunderstood.
Just to be a little bit of a devil's advocate here, as somebody who's in the comedy world, they are getting a lot of flack from the left.
Yeah, they are.
They're getting it from both.
They're getting
from
it from
both
the left
sides,
comedy or the left.
Yeah,
like,
they actually
politicians.
Politicians, I don't know.
Not politicians, but
I don't know
from
about
left
that.
comedy.
Leftist people and people in comedy, they have really burned the bridge from both ends here. Yeah. They're standing in the middle of a suspension bridge with no post.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of the people who did it are the people who are like, I'm a classical liberal. A lot of the people who showed up to speak are the people who sit on that fence. You know, the outwardly left comedians have criticized them, and then of course people on the right have criticized them. It's a lot of the people who claim to be
the news
a part of the new right, the Andrew Schultzes of the world, who
these people
go and try and make it seem like they're taking a principled stand. Hey, do you like what you saw? I don't know how because it's on YouTube and we have to cut all the good parts out. So you should tune in live weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on Rumble. We can still speak freely and even use words like and get and whoa. You've been here this whole time?
Yeah. Snuck in.